So what's good, homies? It's your man, Dr. BOA. We talk all the time about what you shouldn't sacrifice for a relationship. And we pretty much cover everything. But especially when you're building yourself into the best version of yourself, you really can't afford to push things to the wayside or allow things to get away from you while you're focusing on trying to build something with a woman. Because we know that the most fickle relationship you'll ever have is an intimate relationship with a woman. We know that for a fact, especially in Western civilization, namely American society. We know that if that relationship leads to marriage, then divorce is almost imminent. We know this to be true. You look at the divorce rate, people try to play with the numbers and act like they're not relevant to today, but they are relevant to today. But what about the man who's already in a great position? Now, we're not talking about the man who was on bottom and the woman rose with him to the top. We're talking about the man who suddenly was on top. And he threw it all away for a woman. Now, how can you throw it away? You can throw it away in a marriage, getting divorced with a woman who never wanted you anyway. You can throw it away by tricking off. You can be one of them OnlyFans or those seeking arrangement guys. Or you can throw it away just by starting to focus too much energy on the woman. But what if it's even worse than that? Somebody sent me an article where this guy won $10 million in the lottery, man. 10 mil. He had a girl. She was rocking with him. Here's where it gets a little tricky. He ended up in prison for life. Why? He took her out of the game because he caught her texting another man. So here's what the story says.
Michael Todd Hill of North Carolina won a $10 million lottery prize back in 2017 and has recently been sentenced to life in prison for the taking out of his girlfriend, Kiana Graham. Sources say Graham was reported missing and found in a hotel room with a blast to the back of her head. Hill was the only person seen on the surveillance footage with Graham in the room and later admitted to murking her after he discovered she was texting other men. Hill was convicted of first-degree murking and sentenced this past Friday.
I'm going to tell you what happened, man. That dude, that money done ran out. See, here's the thing about it. When you put a woman in the headspace, man, when you got her living the lap of luxury, when that money run out, then there's a respect level for you that she forgot about because you bought the future respect from her. See, a woman can respect you and you ain't got to have nothing. But the moment you turn her respect from you into respect for the money, it don't ever go back to being respect for you. With $10 million, he caught her texting another man. Now, we can look at it and say, hey, man, that guy's not smart at all. That guy doesn't have much sense. Why would he do such a thing? He could have done this or done that. Yeah, he could have if he wasn't emotionally attached to the woman. See, we can talk all the tough talk we want to. Many of you men talking tough talk right now, you know what it feels like to be emotionally attached to a woman. And you know it ain't as easy as just doing the right thing when your emotions are all caught up on a woman. Your mind can say do one thing, but your heart gonna tell you to do something else. And when you all the way caught up in that emotional bag, boy, your heart controls your mind, which causes you to forego your wisdom, understanding, and knowledge in an attempt to satisfy your feelings. Whether that feeling is love, whether that feeling is heartbreak, anger, sadness, gladness, whatever that emotion is. When you are in an emotional bag with a woman, then every facet of your life is controlled by those emotions. That's why a man can have a terrible relationship at home and then go out in the streets and be a beast out there. But then you see him at home, man, and he's cream puff. Why is he a beast in the streets? He a beast in the streets because he needs some emotional satisfaction for being the cream puff he is at home. The same thing. You know a man that's a beast with his woman, man, you get him out in the streets, man, that man Mr. Softy. Be getting disrespected and everything, man. He ain't gonna do nothing to nobody. But he go home and rile up at his woman. Why? Because all of us need balance. But when you're in that emotional space, you can't get balance. You're stuck in that space because it takes you out of your logical thinking ability. It takes it away from you. So when you think about this guy probably was poor or wasn't rich. He hits the lottery for 10 mil. In his mind, it didn't register with him that even if he wasn't the man before, he's the man now. The woman he's with couldn't get a man who had $10 million. It didn't register with him. What registered with him is that now she'll finally love me the way I want her to. Because let me tell you something. There ain't no woman who was loyal to you, man, when you were broke, who's suddenly going to start dealing with other guys, man, when you hit 10 million. No, she already was doing that. There's a level of respect that wasn't established there. Now, granted, if you all of a sudden worth $10 million, your outlook on yourself is going to change. That's why I tell you, man, you don't have to make $10 million. You don't have to be the richest man in the world, but you have to be in a situation where you've accomplished enough in your career, in your chosen profession, for you to be confident in your ability to do things. See, accomplishing things professionally is not just about the money. It's about the self-respect and the self-esteem and the self-acknowledgement that you gain from achieving those things. It puts you in a headspace where you're going to elevate yourself to the level you need to be on in your own mind. And so you're not going to allow things like this to take place where you're being mistreated and you're being taken advantage of and you're being taken for granted by the woman in your life. But here's a man who says, okay, I got 10 million over here. I got these emotions I feel for this woman over here. I'll throw this 10 million away to cater to these emotions. There ain't no emotional attachment that's worth $10 million. There ain't no woman that's worth $10 million. There ain't no relationship that's worth $10 million. I mean, unless it's worth more than that. Y'all know what I mean. But there's no relationship that you should prioritize over your own success. Because here's the thing about it. When you do that, you're not doing yourself any favors. The woman isn't going to respect you. The woman isn't going to love that about you. Yes, she'll take it. Hey, listen, if you got $10 million and you give a woman all of it, she'll take all of it. That ain't going to make her like you more. That don't even mean she like you. But who going to turn down $10 million? So what you expect her to do? You expect her to say, no, don't give me that $10 million. No. I want you to have it. You keep it all to yourself. Don't give me none. That's your money. I don't want you to do nothing for me. Nah, bro, that ain't going to happen. Especially if you're in a situation where a woman to go talk to another man. I'm telling you, man, what it sounds like to me, we never know what this could have been. But those texts could have been, man, him getting set up. He probably was looking at that situation saying, man, listen, man, you helped me blow through all this money. These dude couldn't do nothing for you. You helped me blow through all this money. And then you're going to sit here and do this? She could have been breaking bread with somebody, man. She could have been doing anything. But that's why I tell you, man, don't tie a woman that far into your life. You understand what I'm saying? Many men go into cohabitation situations with the intent of being a team. No, it's not a team. You know what I'm saying? You're the owner of a team, and she can be your star player, but you guys are not on a team together. You're not teammates. When you go into it with this teammate mindset, you have a different level of expectations from a woman because you're treating her like an equal. Worst thing you could do in a situation, man, is pull a Swiss Beats and treat a woman like an equal. Because no matter what she does, no matter what she accomplishes, she'll never be your equal unless you lower yourself to her level. And in a situation like this man has lowered himself to her level. This man said, if I can't have you, no one can, and I don't care about the consequences and repercussions. Man, let me tell you something. If $10 million don't make you look at yourself and say, hey, man, I got more value than her, bro, then 10 million lives ain't going to do the same thing. So you might as well just go sit down somewhere behind that wall because you don't value yourself at all. And the bottom line is, man, if you can't value yourself internally, then at least value yourself externally. Value yourself externally until you can figure out how to value yourself internally, man. But for a man to not value himself at all, even after he done banged him for 10 million in the lottery, man, let me tell you something. It's real talk. Most times when you hit a lick like that, you probably need to lead a woman that's with you. Why? because she don't deserve the man that you become. She don't know how to deal with a man like that. Any woman that dealing with you while you broke don't know how to deal with you when you got $10 million, man. You understand? That's why I say build yourself into the best version of yourself, and then any woman you interact with from that point, you will make sure that that woman deserves a man like you. But as you building yourself, if you got a woman on your team, man, you building yourself. Once you become the best version of yourself, ain't no guarantee that woman still deserve to be on your team, dog. Ain't no guarantee. And you may get in these situations where you feel like you're obligated to repay this woman's loyalty. Well, guess what? As you were coming up, this woman was living that life. Let's say she met you, you had $100. When you got $10,000, guess what? She was living a $10,000 life. When you got $100,000, guess what? She was reaping the benefits of you living a $100,000 life. When you got 200,000, she was living that life. When you got your first meal, guess what? She was benefiting from you living a millionaire's lifestyle. So when you get to a certain point and it's time to push away from a woman, man, you ain't got to hold on to her. You don't owe her nothing. She been on the rise with you, so on the rise, she got a part of the prize. And now that the prize is too big for her, she just got to live with the memories of the time she had with you. But you should never get to the point where you lose everything over a woman. Never do that, man. Worst thing you could do. So, Michael Tahir, man, keep your head up, man. But you done messed up, homie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you messed up. Like, that's it for you, man. Your life is done. Why? Why is your life done? Because you were so emotionally tied to a woman that you couldn't logically assess your situation and realize that you were better than this. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Simps claiming that they pimps, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Suckers claiming to be players, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Tricks acting like they max, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Betas claiming to be alpha, but they not though.
Now, I'm not gonna tell you, man, that you shouldn't value your woman at all. A woman does have value, but you can't overvalue her